I figured why not include teas and plants like in one video, because teas are made from plants, so, and they kind of go hand in hand. So anyways, so yeah, this will be my first video on my Tea Time Tuesday. I'll encourage you guys to go ahead and grab a cup of tea so you guys can enjoy this Tea Time Tuesday with Gusty's plants. So I'll wait for you guys, get your cup of tea ready, and let's get started. I'm actually going to be talking about a company called Zens tea. Right now I'm drinking a tea called Dream of Flowers. This tea is made with quality rose petals, lavender, chamomile, tulsi, and it's for tranquility. This tea is based for like if you have a long day of work and you just want to come home, drink a cup of tea and then relax, go to sleep. Or maybe you had a long day and you just want to take a shower and then come out of the shower, came out of your bath and drink a cup of tea. This is really good for relaxing, you know, giving you a nice breather. The taste of this tea, it's like an herbal tea, but it also has a little bit of like kind of like a hint of like a greenish tea, even though it's not green tea. It's really packed with nice really ingredients: lavender, petals, rose. It's just a really nice tea. It's very soothing, and I really do recommend this tea. I drink it pretty much every night, and even not at night, during the day too. It's really relaxing. It just sets the tone for the day. So I really like drinking this tea, and this is really what I'm drinking anyways right now. Let's get started with today's video, which it will be on Variegated Hoyas. With this Variegated Hoya here. This is the Hoya Carry Eye, which I mentioned in my Hoya's top 10 for the year of 2020. This Hoya, it's amazing, guys. It's so nice. It's so, the shape of the hearts is just astonishing. And this was one of my first, very first plants that I ever owned. I got this in downtown Los Angeles. It's really nice. I've always had it outdoors. I've never had it indoors. I had the regular Carry Eye green indoors, but the hearts started coming out deformed. So I noticed that when this plant does not get enough sun, the hearts come out deformed. So if you want your Carry Eye to actually form nice heart-shaped leaves, it needs to get a lot of brightness, because if not, it's gonna give you like a obobata shaped leaves, and you don't want that, right? So, and this is a nice variegated plant. I noticed it's a lot slower. It's a very slow growing Hoya, even though it's variegated. This is actually not a slow growing variegated plant for what it is. A lot of variegated plants are very slow to grow, but this one, even though it's variegated, when you compare it to other variegated plants, it's not as slow growing. So I do prefer this one. This is my favorite variegated Hoya at the moment. And yeah, this is my Hoya Carry Eye variegated, and I think it's amazing, and the shape of the leaves is just really cool. So yeah, I can't stop drinking this tea. Moving on to my second variegated plant, it's this one right here. This is my Hoya Acuta Variegata, or Alvo Marginara. I did an unboxing on this plant, and I'll leave the insert card right here on the video. But this is my one of my favorites, or my second favorite variegated Hoya. The leaves on this plant are just amazing. Now, it's rooted cutting. However, when I go like this, it's like it feels like a cutting. It feels like it doesn't have a lot of roots. It feels kind of shallow, and a lot of Hoyas are very shallow. They don't grow a lot of roots, so you gotta be careful and don't bother this one. This one here, it's one of my favorites. Like I said, the variegation is astonishing. Some of them, they're so variegated that it looks kind of like white, but this is supposed to be white and yellow and green, but it's so highly variegated that it looks completely white. And this has the potential of growing 100% white leaves and 100% like 50-50 green and white. So it's amazing. I love this plant, guys. It's also a plant that it's kind of like a carnosa. It does better outdoors than indoors. A lot of my Hoyas are supposed to be outdoors, but I brought them indoors because of the temperatures. But I'm actually taking them back out, and this is one of the ones that I'm going to take back out because it's not doing as good as I thought it was going to do. However, I love this plant, and it's more really cool. You guys also were asking me what's my favorite tea. My favorite tea in general is, I guess my favorite tea of choice will probably be like a yerba mate. I like how flexible it is. You can drink it iced, you could drink it hot, as opposed to like green tea, which is mostly like a hot tea, or like black tea that you can drink it kind of like a solid tea latte. I prefer yerba mate because it kind of gives you like that little boost of energy, and it just tastes so nice, and it's like a refreshing drink without it being bad for you. And something that I didn't know is that yerba mate is actually from Argentina. So if you like yerba mate tea, it's made from in Argentina. Well, or it originates from Argentina. So there you go. I never knew that, and I thought it was really cool. But yeah, yerba mate is my favorite tea. Also, one of you guys asked, how did I get started with teas? So it's a very easy question, but I'm glad somebody asked. I got started with teas because I used to work at a coffee bean and tea leaf here in Los Angeles, kind of like a Starbucks, and I worked there for like 6 years. And in my job, I was required to learn a lot about coffee and a lot about tea. So I did. I mean, with 6 years working in the company, I learned a lot about the process of how tea is made, you know, the withering of the leaves, the oxidation process, how rooibos is made, how oolong is processed, green tea, black tea, the top 1% of the leaves, the bush. And I mean, I learned the goods and the bads about tea, and I feel like I'm pretty well established when it comes to tea talk because I have the background for it. Yeah, I've always been a tea drinker, and I have nothing against coffee, but for me, tea is my cup of tea. Yes, and continuing with another variegated plant, this one here is my variegated Hindu rope. Now, it's not that big actually, it's kind of little, and it does have a lot of spider webs. However, they're not spider mites. They're not spider mites. I'll do a close-up so you guys can see. So it's a very slow Hoya, and this was actually the last plant that I purchased from Hertz.com. I had a really bad experience with Hertz, and so I decided to not support them anymore, and I stopped buying plants from them in general. But this was, I think, the last plant that I ever purchased from them, and I got two little, I think they had them for $4.99, little variegated Hoya Hindu ropes, and I got two of them. So I've had it for like almost a year, and it really hasn't grown. And this is what I'm referring to. A lot of other variegated plants are very slow grower. This being one of them, it's super slow growing, and I cannot really seem to get this plant to grow larger than it is. My variegated Hoya Carey grows crazy, and it's like very dense because it grows so much. However, this is the exact opposite, and it's actually not one of my favorites. It's a very slow grower. My mom likes it, but it really doesn't do much for me. I feel like a lot of people got this plant in full size from Home Depot a few weeks ago, like a month ago. This was all over Home Depot, and when I got this plant was so rare that you couldn't find it anywhere. And now that I see that a lot of people get it in Home Depot, I don't want to buy one because I already have one, but it's this size. If that makes any sense. But yeah, I like it, but it doesn't steal my heart anymore. I have two other teas from Zens tea. This one right here is the golden milk, and then this little guy right here is the jasmine dragon. So their most popular tea from Zens Tea House, their most popular tea, their bestseller is the golden milk. This one here has turmeric, ginger, and cinnamon shavings. So it's not really a tea. It's more like an emulsion, kind of like a powder. And if you had coriander before, or you had turmeric, it kind of has that taste. You sprinkle this with hot steamed milk, or maybe even water if you want. However, I don't recommend doing it with water. I recommend doing it with milk. It gives your it kind of detoxifies your stomach, your body, and it's really good for inflammation. If you have like muscle tension, if you have like pain or something, I found that this tea is really good for relieving any problems. My dad has right now a problem with his back. I think he like fractures one of his tendons, and he cannot really move as much. So I've been making him a little bit of this tea, and he told me that it's helped. It doesn't have the best taste, I'll be honest. It has like a spicy, you know, it has ginger, so it has like a spicy gingery taste. However, I do add a little bit of almond milk with vanilla, or a little bit like Oatly milk, which is kind of like sweet, to add like a nice creaminess and sweetness to it. It's really good as a hot drink. I've never had it as an iced drink. But yeah, this one is Golden Milk. It's their most famous tea, and I can see why, because it's very good for your overall immune system and your overall health. So yeah, I'm almost done here, guys, and I want to share with you guys this big mammoth of a plant. This is my Hoya Crimson Queen plant. This was one of my first plants I also purchased, and it's grown massive, guys. Like, this is a massive plant. I want to show you guys the leaves. I mean, this is a basic plant. It's so massive, like, it's crazy. It's really nice. I love it. It's one of my favorites. And it's great. So I had this plant outdoors hanging on a wall, and when it got really hot, this plant started dying on me. It started getting scorched left and right, so I got really scared and I decided to bring it inside my greenhouse. And inside the greenhouse, guys, it grew so many tendrils. Like, it has tendrils left and right, and like, it's growing massive tendrils. This plant started growing bunkers in my greenhouse, and before I knew it, a pedicle appeared, and right now it has a pedicle. It's a dormant pedicle, meaning that it's not gonna flower soon. Maybe it's gonna flower starting next year. However, I'm so excited, I'm so happy this plant decided to grow for me this big, and it definitely loves the greenhouse. If you guys have this plant, I know it's a basic plant, but I recommend you guys bring it outdoors, because that's where it loves it. It loves the wind, the high sunlight, and the humidity from outdoors, depending on where you are. I'm in California, and it loves being outdoors, and it's crazy. It also grew a lot of vines with like roots in them. So if you guys have this plant, you could easily propagate and give cuttings to your friends. So yeah, my variegated Crimson Queen. Now I also have my variegated Crimson Princess. However, I have that one outdoors. I have two of these plant of variegated Princess, so I'm gonna insert a little clip right here so you guys can take a look. This plant, similar to the Hoya Queen, this Crimson Princess, it's not my favorite. I bought it because it was cheap in downtown Los Angeles, and the queen, for me, it's the queen. There's no other king for her, unfortunately. However, the princess, it's not my favorite. Something that I do want to say here is that the Hoya Crimson Princess grows pink leaves and like variegated leaves. However, it does not have the capacity of growing like a full-on yellow or a full-on pink leaf as opposed to the queen, and that's where I think they both differ. One of them grows variegation all over, and the Hoya Princess does not. So in my opinion, I feel like the Hoya Hindu rope variegated is like a curly plant of the Hoya Queen. So like, imagine a Hoya Queen being curled, then you will get a Hindu rope. Right, I don't know, leave me a comment down below if you guys think the same as I do. My last variegated plant that I want to share with you guys here is this plant right here, which is the Australis Lisa, the Hoya Australis Lisa, guys. This plant is my third favorite on variegation. This plant, it's really nice. It kind of reminds me of the Hoya Crimson Princess on variegation. It's just magnificent. It's a very slow grower too, like any other variegated plant. I'm not gonna get tired of saying this. Variegated plants grow very slow. However, the foliage they come out with is impressive. Hoya Australis Lisa, there's many of Australises, like Australis Brookfield, Australis Tunoops, Australis some kind of island. However, Australis Lisa, I think it only comes in one type of Australis, and it's this one. A lot of people have this plant. It's become basic. Can you believe it? This plant years ago used to be like a rare find. Now it's a basic plant. So it's my favorite nonetheless, even though it's not as rare as it used to be. But this plant is amazing. It's a very slow grower. The new leaves come out reddish pink, and then as they grow they turn yellow. But I just absolutely love this plant. This plant is actually kind of thirsty. I need to water it for sure, so I'm gonna go ahead and give it some water. Alright guys, so that's it for this video. I do have other variegated plant like a Hoya Carry Eye variegated, but it only has 2 leaves, and it has like the inner variegation. However, it's like almost like reverting back to green, so I didn't want to show it. Follow me on Instagram, because I will definitely show you guys on Instagram this plant. But anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to drink water and water your plants, and why not drink tea while you're at it. Thank you for watching. Able to grow a completely yellow or a completely pink leaf. Carry I variegated. So in my opinion, I think that the Hoya Carry, my Hoya Carry I variegated, this plant right here, which is the Hoya